Welcome to Meet my friend today with Daddy Porter. Oh, my background is I'm all like anyway. Meet my friend with Daddy Porter. I'm here with Matt Schneider today. He is the one of the co-founders of City Dads Group. So it's going to be fun to talk to him about. Well, we'll get to beer too, but fatherhood. How he started City Dads Group. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. But if you're not, we're here to We're going to familiarize you with it. It's a big old group of dads, nationwide, 40 plus cities. I, uh, I don't know. It's a really good group. I'm lost for words here. I'm not sure why. This is something I should be able to talk to. I started the Madison Dads chapter of City Dads. I would say like 3 years ago now. Or maybe even 4. It goes really fast. And City Dads is basically I don't know. It's pretty big and it's really fantastic as far as getting dads together and all that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Matt on here and we're going to talk about it. And yeah, so what's up, Matt?
Hanging in there. I didn't bring my beer with me. I had every intention of you were very kind to give me a beer at Dad 2.0, and I have been saving it. My wife is like, "Why is this beer from Wisconsin in our refrigerator?" I said, "I'm saving it."
Well, I can at some point if you want to jump out and get it, you are more than free to do it. But
give me a chance at some point. I'll go get it.
All right, Matt. Well, let's start at the beginning here. You and I met at Home.con Omaha. And I met you and Matt you were Lance were there. And this is even before, if I tell me if my story's wrong, but this is even before you guys even had the City Dads idea. And that goes way back, or maybe you did, but it definitely wasn't a thing at that point. And we just met each other at home dads group. So we kind of bonded from there. And then from there, I'm just gonna let you take the story.
We had started City Dads, or we had started NYC Dads Group at that point. I think we might have been a year or two in. That Omaha convention was a long time ago now, 8-9 years. And we've been doing City Dads Group. NYC Dads Group. We started November 2008 in New York City. We thought it was going to be at-home dads. Lance and I were at home after being teachers together. I had been home for 3 years on my own without a group. And Lance, as he tells the story, said he'd follow in my footsteps from teaching into at-home fatherhood and see what it was like. And he called me up as soon as his wife went back to work after maternity leave and said, "What have you been doing in New York City the last 3 years? Everything is for moms. It's mommy and me play groups and mommy and me music class and mommy and me gym class." And I said, "I've been hanging out with a lot of moms and a lot of nannies and haven't really thought that much about it. It's been all right. I saw a dad every now and then, but you know how dads are at the playground hovering around each other." Lance, Greg, you know very well, is very social and loves outgoing and that energizes him. So he said, "Well, we're going to be meeting up anyway. Let's see if anybody else is out there." And we realized that it wasn't just at-home dads that wanted a dads group. There were lots of working dads that also wanted to join up with us, whether it was teachers that had summers off or entrepreneurs that could work at whatever schedule they wanted to, or freelancers, journalists, photographers that had random schedules and were with their kids all the time. So New York City became a group for all dads, not just at-home dads. And we really have tried to put that at the center. We want to bring dads of all stripes together in real life.
Absolutely. So then New York City started, and at some point it became bigger than New York City for you guys. I mean, you started to see other people come in. I mean, I know I was a fan. I used to start liking your stuff. I mean, this was part of, again, you're right. It was part of how you guys started to connect with like the bigger, broader dad group. So then that New York City jumped off to where did you guys get that synergy to try to get it bigger?
And it was a long time. We didn't ever really think too much. I mean, we didn't set out with a game plan of any sort. This was an attempt to keep ourselves busy during the day and find other dads. And I think the next interesting part of the story was Lance really early on added a blog. There was no social media at the time, or nobody was on Facebook if it existed. We started a blog, and Lance was really good every day about posting what the dads group was doing every day and showing pictures of us at the Whitney Museum or hanging out in Central Park or whatever new place we had found. And that we started to create a voice for ourselves and really be a voice for the dads in our group. And then we started to participate in bigger conversations about parenthood and fatherhood, and start contributing our thoughts and make sure dads' voices were included in important conversations, work-life conversations. Let's join women in the discussion about how to make work for families. We were very involved in conversations with marketers, trying to help them recognize that making dads look like buffoons wasn't great marketing, and it certainly didn't represent us or the guys that we knew in our group. And those conversations led to some sponsorships. First, we got free strollers and free diapers, and then we said, strollers and diapers. We have enough strollers, we have enough diapers. Maybe you can pay us to access our audience. We started to build an audience, and we were consulting and helping them learn about modern dads. And I think at that point, we kind of thought other cities would recognize, hey, look at these guys in New York City. They're not only meeting up in person, but they're also getting involved in a bunch of interesting conversations. And people like you were noticing. You, I think, had started the Madison Dads group separately, if I recall. Other guys around the country had started dads groups, but not really necessarily put all the same pieces together. I think what we really wanted to do was have the online component, really be that community for dads in real life, but also, or that offline component, and then bring it online, be a resource for dads, and also be a voice in these important conversations. So we had a guy move from New York to LA, and he wanted some advice on starting a group there. And we got to know some guys in Chicago that had started a group there, and wanted some advice. And we said, well, rather than advice, let's try to do this together. So we created this umbrella organization, City Dads Group, started Chicago Dads Group and LA Dads Group right around the same time, kind of keeping in mind what worked in New York. And then pretty much it's been guys coming to us, mostly wanting to start groups in their cities, but some that already had groups that wanted to join up with us. And that was 5 or 6 years after we started NYC Dads Group, and also aligns with the time that my youngest and Lance's oldest child started kindergarten. And so we had some more time on our hands to think more about what we wanted NYC Dads Group to be and what City Dads Group could be. And I think that's been the central part of what has made this work. Is Lance and I were very intentional about creating something that still fits in our lives as the primary caregivers for our family. I can't have something that I need to be traveling several days a week, or I need to be in an office, or I need to be on call ready to work. I need something that I can ramp up and ramp down as needed, as my family needs me, as the boys are in school and out of school. And that's been core for also, as we've talked to other guys about running the groups. This has to be something that works in the context of whether you're an at-home dad or a working dad or a single dad or a gay dad. This has to fit into your life. And there are going to be moments when it fits in better than others.
Right. What I love about you guys, one of the many things, is that you guys talk about what a lot of people in the minority community talk about, which is building your own space. You didn't see a space, that was necessarily 100%, welcoming of who you were, which was, at-home dad or, full-time dad. So you created a space. And then not only you created that space, in my opinion, or how I say it, you duplicated it everywhere else. You took that model that you guys made and then just duplicated it. I mean, everybody, as speaking as an organizer, as someone who started with you guys or, came along with you guys give, you guys start with the template and then you guys give us pretty much, mostly full reign of how we do our things, how we set up our schedules and our meetups and, what kind of things we do. There's a guideline, yes. And we meet every year to have conversations about, what more we can do, what less we can do. But I like that you guys took, again, the motto of, no disrespect, but we don't have a space. So let's build a space and we'll invite people to come. So kudos to that. I love that. That was great. Fantastic. But you guys have taken that to, you guys have really expanded out. I was looking today. I know you guys did almost 100 podcast episodes. So you guys expanded out to that. I don't know if you want to speak to that or, and then I see you guys have a really, really, I don't know if anybody, as far as parenting goes, people should really follow. I don't have it here. City Dad's Twitter. City Dad's Twitter has fantastic articles and conversations about fatherhood specifically. And our boy Kevin McKeever does a fantastic job on the blog. So I'll let you talk about the different things that kind of spurred out of this on top of the 40 plus satellites.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny you said creating a space that I didn't see, and I have just started to recognize or acknowledge that I made a decision and very comfortable with the decision to be an at-home dad. My wife and I talked about it a lot. We were very comfortable with the roles we had each chosen, but the world, obviously, as you know, isn't always comfortable with that and isn't even always comfortable with active and engaged dads, whether you're working full-time or not. Moms are the primary parent in most circles. So we definitely have been trying to break down that barrier and recognize not only for ourselves, like we are perfectly capable and competent of parenting, and none of it's rocket science. I'm not saying it's easy to be a parent, but it's not easier to be a dad or a mom. But certainly it takes practice. And if we're not changing diapers early, if we're not feeding our babies early, if we're not getting them dressed or managing doctor's appointments or figuring out school stuff, then we're not going to be able to be on deck and active and engaged when we need to. And there's no reason that dads can't be those caregivers, caring and capable and competent. And I think that's been at the heart of the rest of our work. We know what dads are like in real life, and we're trying to shout out to the world through our blog, which Lance started almost right away. Kevin took over many years ago, and I would say professionalized it. Really, Kevin McKeever is a journalist by trade and has been editing, for the most part, not writers. He edits the dads from our group. We've got some guys that are writers that are also members of our group, but for the most part, it's he's editing the stories and the thoughts of guys from our community, and it's helping the world to recognize that it's important for dads to be front and center when you're thinking about the day-to-day tasks. My big push right now, if you read some of the things that moms are talking about, they're talking about the mental load that they still have, even though their husbands, their partners are taking more of the day-to-day tasks. Moms are still shouldering the mental load of what it takes to run a household. And I think in many cases that is the case. And it's nice to have somebody else making a to-do list for us dads, and happy to go to the grocery store, happy to cover dinner tonight if you've got all the ingredients ready, but not easy to be the one to make the grocery list, not easy to be the one anticipating in January what your kids are going to do in the summertime, not easy to be the one to flip the switch to figure out how are we going to handle this COVID-19 crisis. And I think that's the next step in the conversation between moms and dads in those cases where it's a couple is a mom and dad. How do we balance not only the day-to-day tasks of parenting, how do we balance the mental load of it all? And I think this crisis gives us an opportunity to do that. We're in each other's space all day, every day now, and we're seeing what work life it looks like for those of us that have working or spouses that are usually working outside the home. Those of us that are working inside the home as caregivers or working on whatever projects we're working on, or working on work from home, our partners and our kids get to see that now and have a new appreciation for it. So lots of opportunity. So all the rest of to your question, all the rest of what we do is really related to what are the conversations that parents are having? What are the conversations that dads are having? What are the conversations that couples are having between each other, and how can we contribute?
Yes, and it's great because, again, it's broad. And I do have to shout out, we do have a comment here from Doug French. Doug French is one of the founders and organizers of Dad 2.0. Dad 2.0 is also an amazing Twitter resource as far as fathers about dad's issues. You guys both do bang up jobs about getting stories out about dads, and also just creating awareness and having a conversation. It's not just about saying, hey, dads are here, we all know that, but it's also having the conversations that dads need to be having this specifically, because again, we have we all have moms attached to us, and we all have, like you said, we all need to be working together to create that, the best family that we can. So with that being said, you jumped into part of the big conversation. As this video will live on my YouTube page under Meet My Friends, so you'll be able to always get it there. But while we are live now, we are living through a global pandemic, and Matt is at the place that was one of the epicenters for at least a long time. Hopefully, it's not anymore. New York City. So yeah, Matt, how you definitely threw out some things there. So you're definitely on that mindset. So how are you and your wife been parenting? Do you have any tips that you've been seeing from many of the guys coming in about how you do this work? I mean, remember we used to talk, Matt, this story, you guys were one of the first people that started talking about work and life balance, or work and life balance, and how the men do it, and how we need to support our ladies doing it and all that. So how does that work now when everybody is in, with all due respect, man, you guys live in New York City, so you guys are in, like, I feel people like a small box. So how have you guys been doing that? I see you're smiling, so it's been a good experience overall, I would hope. But
and I think, for everybody, if things were pretty okay before you went into this, then you're going to be better off than if things weren't. So I keep saying that thankfully my wife and I love each other, like each other, enjoy spending time with each other. The kids like us most of the time. We enjoy spending time together as a family. We've been doing well. I think we started isolating ourselves mid-March when schools closed. My wife was able to work from home, and we were here, we're in New York City, but you don't feel it unless you're trying to go to the hospital, or you're trying to get tested, or you are on the front lines, and we're not. So we're watching the same news of what's going on in a hospital, or what's going on in a morgue, or what's going on upstate, downstate, wherever that everybody else is. So in some ways, we could be anywhere. We don't have anywhere else to go, or we don't have family nearby to go live with or anything like that. But we wanted to be in New York City. Our life is in New York City, and we felt like the city would be in a position to keep the resources going, make sure that hospitals are ready for the onslaught if we needed to go to the hospitals, make sure grocery stores are supported, and making sure that we can get the groceries we need. And that's been the case. We go out. We do go out for walks. We all wear masks. My youngest son, is a maker. He has had a sewing machine for a long time, and this was his opportunity to pull it out. And he and my wife have been making masks for all of us. So if you saw the picture of the cover of your show today, I was wearing Sam Schneider made mask. We need to put his signature on it for the next one.
Right, copyright.
But I think we're in a situation where we're not worried about paying our mortgage. We're not worried about the kids' remote schooling has been going very well. Obviously, it's not perfect, but neither was school before. Our kids are 14 and 11, so they're at the right age to be able to manage most of the school stuff themselves. I keep saying that I'm helping with executive function. I'm not, even though I have a teaching background, I'm not really teaching. I'm helping get organized, helping them. You're a homeschooler, so you know all this. It's how do you look at the onslaught of emails that have come in from all of your teachers and organize what you're going to do and make a schedule and make sure you've turned everything in. And that, I think, has been helpful. And it's fun to watch them kind of flourish and adjust to this and figure it all out. I think we have also been taking the opportunity, since we're all home together, to learn some home skills that may have been taken care of by somebody else for the months, the years of our lives. We've been fortunate to have been able to hire a cleaning person to come to our home and clean, and we continue to pay her, but she has not been coming for the last however many months that we've been home. So we're back on cleaning floors and cleaning toilets, and the boys are in there with us. And where we used to say it takes too long for them to do it, or they don't do a good enough job, we say we have plenty of time to do it, and we're going to watch until you do the good job, so we can see the progress that they're making as from week to week as they're getting better at doing dishes or cleaning the floors or cleaning toilets. So good lesson for all of us, and good opportunity to appreciate people like our cleaning ladies and babysitters and all those other teachers, all those people that support our lives and make our lives work.
That I don't know if the word is I don't know if the phrase is take for granted. It's not take for granted. It's more like we're just so used to them being there. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's take for granted, but it's just more like, man, like the day-to-day things that, like, having them there and having these quote luxuries when the pandemic hits, and it's just like, wow, you get definitely more of appreciation of, you know, what they bring to the table, who they are, whether it be supermarket people, taxi cab drivers. Yeah. I mean, all that. And I don't know. I know you already feel this, but it's just another time for us to be kind, really more than anything.
I have been making a point, every person that is working, I make a point of thanking them for doing their work. I was at the grocery store this morning, and I thanked a guy who was stocking the shelf. I thanked the woman that was checking me out, and I'm not the only one. We're not the only ones that are doing that. I think we really are appreciating the fact that there are people that are continuing. They're not allowed to isolate. They have to get out and work. Part of it is economic, but they're putting their lives at stake for us, and we the least we can do is be appreciative for it.
Absolutely. Do you have any tips or any thoughts on? We definitely talked about dad's health, mental health. Talked about mom's mental health. But we haven't really hit on kids' mental health, and I know, you know, it's so. As a homeschooler, it's hard for me to, not hard for me, but it's a little bit difficult for me to put myself into the place of of a parent of a kid who goes to school, or even worse, put myself in a place. I can remember when I went to school. How about that? But I can't imagine, and I was never forced to go homeschool in the middle of a year when we had everything going, and just to stop everything. And your kids your kids aren't age of graduation, but we have graduations missed, proms missed. I mean, all these events of kids are just, you grow up and you're looking forward to. Your kids are, we're coming into teenage years. So have you seen any mental effects? And have you heard from the broader dad community about, what we're going to do about, how we can look for signs and help them, in a mental way during this?
No, I think there are a lot of resources popping up, and a lot of experts are weighing in on this. This is new territory for everybody, so it's there's nobody who's an expert in helping kids through pandemics. We're all making this up as we go along and trying to. I mean, this. I was thinking about this on my walk to the grocery store today. Is what will the impact be on a generation that is we're scared. I mean, adults are scared, kids are scared to go back out into the world, scared to be in the world, and there's going to be a long-term impact to that I don't think that we really can get our arms around yet. It's something to think about. What other generation has come through something like this, and we can look at, and we keep hearing about the pandemic of 1918, the flu epidemic in 1918. What were the long-term ramifications of the people that lived through that, and living under quarantine and living through the potential to get the virus over multiple years? So, I mean, honestly, and I'm watching the world. I am a dad, but I don't have any great advice at this point, other than try to. I mean, I think the airplane mask metaphor is always good. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of the other people in your life. So make sure that you yourself are getting some exercise. I know a lot of people are talking about comfort food and comfort eating and stuff, but that's not going to get us through years, months and years of this. So thinking about healthy eating, putting healthy meals on the table for yourself and your family, getting some exercise is important. And also trying to, embrace what you can. We are spending a lot of time together, and we're trying to do that. Some of that time is spent cleaning floors and toilets, but a lot of that time is spent lingering around the dinner table. Like we used to be, everybody had to get to baseball practice or homework after dinner. Now we have to get to whichever show we want to watch. So we can spend a lot more time talking around a dinner table or playing. We've been playing a ton of board games. We've done online escape rooms. We've done online crime solving things that have been really fun.
Online escape rooms, really?
It's for a company. It's escape room companies that are figuring out a way to bring what they do online, and we found a couple. Some of them have always been online. Some of them are board. There's board games that used to be like solve a crime board games that they've now brought online. And it's several hours of collaborative. What I like about it is, like board games, we play Settlers of Catan and we're all battling each other. This solving a crime type situation where we're collaborating, working together to figure out who murdered whichever character. You have kids that are a little older to be with looking through evidence of a crime scene, but.
Well, you did have to. You part of your answer was you said you didn't really have any tips, and then you went and gave a couple tips.
I have tips for what we're doing and for how we're having fun. I have a bunch of tips.
Yeah. No, but I also heard in there too, or a little bit, or it was mix it up. And I think part of the problem about the pandemic was that it mixed up our schedule. It just completely threw it off. But part of I think we could still do a little bit of mixing up. I was talking to James Lopez. He was on a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about mixing it up a little bit with his kids and trying to do different things. Even when your day is just so structured, there's still little tidbits of time where you can just like stop for a game or. That's what I've been doing with the boys. We will stagger days. I will wake up one day and say we have no homework, just out of random. Or we're just going to take time to, you guys pick a movie and we're just going to have afternoon movie time. Because they're really, my boys are, I don't know about your boys, but my boys, we live out in the farmland and they just run. So they're used to running. So they're kind of restricted. So, I like to let them go out in the rain as opposed to when it's nice out because they'll see less people. So let's take a walk in the rain. Let's drive our bikes in the rain. So, different things. But I mean, we just got to take kind of what we can get, Matt, and just go from there. So
No, I think this is going to be a time that a lot of people look back, obviously, as tragic. There's so much going on, but also for families, I think they'll look back and think fondly of some of the experiences we're getting to have together.
Absolutely. Art Eddie says, great to see Matt on the show. I think this is Art too.
Broncos draft. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Comments? You can answer this if you want, or we can.
No, my oldest son follows it much more closely than I do. I've created two. So the question is about the Broncos and their draft picks. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Colorado, live in New York now, but still have maintained all of my Colorado sports fan or my teams, and the two boys have become bigger sports fans in general, and certainly follow the teams even more closely than I ever did. So my oldest was following the draft minute by minute. That was a fun activity for however many days that was going on.
Sure.
Yeah, he was very happy with the draft, and he's excited about Drew Lock taking the reins as quarterback.
Yeah, and that was the thing about the draft was that was one that was like our sports were back for a couple of days. I think that's what, because I was going back and forth on it, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big sports guy. You probably know this, I'm a big football head. But I was like, is this? So I kind of like eased into it. But once I saw people rally around it, and at least it gave us a couple of days of normalcy a little bit. I came around on it. So ultimately, it's a good thing for sure. And I was just more like, wow, we got to be respectful, but there's a balance here.
Exactly. I mean, and having those little bits of normalcy to keep our lives going is good to take the opportunity.
Absolutely. So I want to, if you don't mind, I want to double back and go to City Dads again. There's a couple of things that jumped out that we kind of skipped over, but I want to go back. Is the when you guys work with sponsors, it's some of the best, excuse my language, that I see for dads. And the one that I really liked is I forget the sponsor, so you're going to tell me, but it was the baby carrying campaign that we did. That was that was all inspiring. It was amazing. It was, in my opinion, one of the best things that's come out of City Dads. Just the pictures and just the energetic level of fathers doing it. I don't know if you want to speak to that campaign or just the overall campaigns, but that one was really.
Yeah, thank you. I think the weird thing about City Dads Group is we're not a nonprofit, but we're not like a full-fledged enterprise. We're not trying to maximize our financial stakes in all of this. We have sponsors because sponsors started to approach us. First, to have a conversation about how they were representing dads in marketing, and next, when they wanted to reach dads. We were collecting an audience of dads, both online and offline, and sponsors wanted to bring dads into their marketing and wanted to bring dads in as customers. So you're talking about a campaign with Baby Bjorn. They had themselves created a campaign specifically geared towards dads, and they wanted to bring that campaign to real life with the dads from our groups, and we were able to work with them. I don't even remember, it was 10 to 15 groups across the country, I believe, that all got sent baby carriers and all got to go do fun things in their city. Mike Heenan, San Francisco Dads Group co-organizer, got to take a tour of the new 49ers stadium, and that's probably the best picture of that day. It was 25 dads at Levi's Stadium, all wearing a Baby Bjorn with their babies. We in New York City went to the Bronx Zoo. Guys in LA took a hike near the Hollywood sign. It was the best. What we try to do with all of our sponsorships is kind of find ways for the dads in our group to really have fun with it. We only work with brands that we really like their products. We get to be choosy. And these campaigns that are specifically focused on reaching dads and helping us promote our message that dads are perfectly capable and competent of in this case, wearing our babies effectively. And when a brand can align with our mission like this, it really creates, I would say, some magic that more than those situations where we're just selling somebody's product. And we don't really have those situations. Every brand we work with, we try to find that authentic way to work together, that also that our dads in our group and the dads that follow us on Facebook are happy about. Even better than trying to sell them something is taking the opportunity to work on some kind of social good messaging with a brand. We worked with Plum Organics for a long time, several social good campaigns for Giving Tuesday, where they donated a pallet of Plum Organics food in 10, 15 cities across the country. And we had our dads at those places that they chose. The groups locally chose the organization they wanted to give that food to, and they were there on Giving Tuesday or somewhere around Giving Tuesday, volunteering for the organization. So it gave dads a chance to give back, gave our brand a chance to be noticed in the context of giving to our communities, and it was a win-win.
Yes, it was again, that was excellent. And then I wouldn't, if we didn't talk about outreach, it wouldn't do you guys, or do us, I would say, because I'm part of the organization too. It wouldn't do us justice if we didn't talk about the different outreaches that we had. I remember Alex Lemonade Stand. We did Movember every year almost. You guys, Government Care is one that I need to kind of stop and talk about. They have been, these are my words, not Matt's, and Matt can give his own characterization, but they have been amazing as far as not only having a conversation with dads, and then implementing that into whether it be media or whether it be them contributing to, whether it be the At Home Dad group, the Dad 2.0, City Dads. I mean, they're just a broad brush of good vibes when it comes to a brand dealing with fatherhood. And they're not only that Super Bowl ad that they did was, in my opinion, revolutionary and groundbreaking, but that was also a year that there was a lot of good father ads during that year. So in my opinion, Government Care led that charge, because they were doing it long before then, and they're doing it now. This is part of their thing. This isn't them just trying to make money, because again, it goes beyond that. Yes, there's a brand, there's a value for a brand to connect, but the way they've connected has just been, for me, just different on another level. I don't know if you want to speak to this about them or.
Yeah, no, that Super Bowl ad was at a time when a lot of brands were making fun of dads in their commercials. Like there's a guy continues to be involved in the dad community, Zach Rosenberg. 8-Bit Dad was his website. He took a tally and he looked at all the Super Bowl ads and noted how they treated fathers in the ads. And back in the day, what was that, 8-9 years ago, there were many ads, whether they were car commercials or cell phone commercials, diaper commercials, that made fun of ads during the Super Bowl. Dove Men Plus Care comes out and makes dads look like they care, and that they are competent, and that they are really passionate about being good dads. And that shouldn't be groundbreaking. It shouldn't bring a tear to our eye to see a dad treated well in an advertisement, but it did, and they definitely led the way. And I think that, to me, is another great reason why we appreciate the opportunity to work with brands, is because I do think that does create change in the world. Popular culture impacts the world and how we feel about ourselves, and in this case, how we feel about dads. And Dove Men Plus Care continues to evolve the conversation. We're not still talking about dads in commercials anymore, because we're past that. Right now, Dove Men Plus Care is working on going into the pre-crisis was very focused on paid family leave that included paid leave for moms and dads when we first have a baby, and taking that time off. And they are working, and you're looking at a picture of Alexis Ohanian.
Yes.
in the picture. And by the way, the other two guys there are city dads. And you'll recognize one city dad, Darren, that you had on your show last week. This was a national campaign that Darren and Brandon Bellinger from Kansas City were part of the campaign. And we have been we've gotten to sit in the room with them as these campaigns have been conceived, and we've been able to give feedback, and then we get to be part of bringing them to life. Right now, we're working with them on a series of how-to videos. We're among several groups working with them, but they've recognized that YouTube doesn't have very many how-to videos created by dads. Where parents are going to the internet all the time to get advice, but a lot of that advice is coming from moms. So Dove Men Plus Care has recognized, hey, dads probably have some advice too. So we have 14 guys from our network working with us to create, it'll be a series of videos, various how-tos, most of them right now related to things associated with living through a pandemic, working from home, eating from home, playing from home. But as time goes on, we'll have even broader content. But again, this opportunity to really bring a positive image of dads to the forefront. And it's been our privilege and honor to work with Dove Men Plus Care, and their sponsorship has certainly allowed us to grow the way that we have.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, his name is Alexis, right?
Yes, he's
Alexis
Serena Williams' husband.
Right, Serena Williams' husband. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Not to mention the co-founder of Reddit.
Oh, absolutely, and he has his
own. But he's now known as Serena Williams' husband.
Yeah. He's not just Serena Williams' husband, but one of the good things about or not good things. One of the things I like about him, I like a lot of things about him actually, especially how he's come out as a father. Like once he came out, not come out as a father, but he's out in the forefront talking about fatherhood issues where he doesn't really necessarily have to. But and it's not just Serena Williams' husband, but I don't think a lot of people, when he talks about being a fatherhood, he really never mentions Serena or any of that. So I think there's some people who don't know he's Serena Williams' husband actually. So that's why I wanted to make sure I said that. But he's been fantastic as far as I really liked him and Serena too. I don't know if you know, she's very outspoken about her motherhood, about how it was hard for her. She had some life-changing or life-threatening things going on around the birth of their daughter. So I love the whole story. The whole story is great.
Yeah, I'm glad both of them. I think as if everything would have been smooth sailing, I don't know that they would have come out the other side with the passion that they have, the advocacy role that they both are taking in each of their realms. And I think with so many men, becoming a father changes them at the core. And for some of these, some people are changed at the core, and they're quiet about maybe thinking about how to raise they think differently about women, for example, because they have a daughter. But Alexis Ohanian is taking his platform and really trying to affect change, even at the federal government level. He himself was lobbying Congress people alongside Dove Men Plus Care a few months ago in Washington, D.C., in California. So it's neat to see somebody recognize their position, recognize their privilege, and recognize the opportunity that they have to affect change.
Absolutely. And so dadscare.com, I know you want to speak on that.
Dadscare.com is this Dove Men Plus Care website that they have created for these how-to videos that dads are creating. Many of them will come from our City Dads members and influencers across the country, and other groups are contributing as well. So it'll be neat to see the different content that comes out over the next several months. Yeah,
it's going to be some quarantine content, right?
Lots of quarantine content.
we're a quick aside, because I just brought it up. Isn't it amazing how humans adapt? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You see American Idol on quarantine. You see I just turned on today Kelly and Ryan in quarantine,
Yeah.
and they're interviewing people. It's just amazing how people adapt to times. I'm a beer guy, so a lot of times I will talk about how the breweries are, whether it be, curbside pickup, no contact, delivering, and I know they deliver in New York City. They don't deliver out here in Wisconsin, but we can work on that. But it's just amazing to see humans, adapt really, really fast to our changes and to, because we can still, I don't like American Idol, but for people who do, it's good that it's there. It's good that they have, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's good that we're able to at least keep some semblance of something going on.
No, it's very cool. And you're getting a window into people's lives, and some of them, they get set up perfectly, so it looks like they're still on set. But some people, you see their house and you see how they're living, and you're like, eh, they're pretty darn human.
Right.
It's neat to see, and they have kids coming in and interrupting them. I've been talking a lot to people that work, and how interesting it is, because everybody now has to work from home, and senior leaders have the same struggles have many of the same struggles as more junior people do. So to see the vice president of your group having to stop the meeting to help her daughter with homework is it's humanizing. And I think it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we're not going to continue remote working forever, but a lot of people, a lot of companies have been able to be productive while letting people work from home. So people and companies might be a lot more open to some of these adjustments that people have been able to make, and making them not permanent, but nothing wrong with working from home sometimes.
No. It's just created a fascinating thing. I was, right before I came on to you, I was literally watching the Wisconsin Supreme Court talking, and they had a Zoom, and they were going back and forth about whatever thing they were arguing about. And it was just amazing, because I've never seen all of them in one spot. I've never, heard. I guess I could listen to them. I guess I'm not sure, but I've never really saw it. And it just popped up my live feed, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And then earlier in the day, I was listening to the Supreme Court of the United States about audio, and it's just it's fascinating. So I don't. These are things that, as a person who's really into politics, I want to see more of this. And so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to roll back some of this, because
exactly these are the things that maybe become the norm. I have loved jazz at Lincoln Center. It's a big thing here in New York, and they've been having live feeds every day of their various artists. Wynton Marsalis has gotten on and talked to people, and it's just this joy to take time in your day to stop for jazz. We go to a lot of theater in New York City, and one of our favorites is the Public Theater. The other night, they had a playwright create a play specifically for Zoom. He wrote it within the last month. It's from a family series that they had done, that the playwright had written several years ago. He continued the story of this family, so some people knew the characters, we didn't. The actors performed the play on Zoom, and it was outstanding. It was amazing. And it will not be a play that will ever get performed again, and it would not have worked if it weren't for being on Zoom.
Right. Wow. And then, I don't know if you're a hip hop fan or not. I am for sure. And then, you have these DJs having battles on Instagram. It's just right. And then also, real quick too, something that comes from where you're at is Saturday Night Live doing the pandemic quarantine. Yeah, it's just again, I always tell my kids there's always a silver lining. There's always a silver lining. If it's not a silver lining, I don't know what's going on. And these are the silver linings that I'm at least finding through the pandemic of, just again, all inspiring people doing, crazy things to keep people entertained. And while we have our frontline nurses and doctors and, everybody, subway driver, the train subway, Cuomo, man, just watching him every day puts a lot of perspective and at least people who live in Midwest's minds like me, who again don't have to deal with a subway, and just listen to them talk about 50 minutes yesterday about how we got to clean the subway and how we got to keep it going because our frontline people are on it. And this is New York, and we all use it. And if we all had to go to cars, we would never get anywhere. And just that whole conversation about it just really keeps me grounded here out in the Midwest. Out in farmland where I never see a damn subway. I miss the subways though, Matt, man. I'm from Philly, and I miss being able to just jump on a subway and, get downtown in 20 minutes and get what you need to get and get out. And I just love it. So I understand, man, like you guys, I feel that people in the cities are much more affected by, shutdowns and stuff like that than people in the Midwest. I can at least get out in my car and drive north or something. But so yeah, man, I don't know. There wasn't a question there, but if you have a comment.
No, I think it's, silver linings. I think that's what it's all about. Especially if you're not a frontline worker, if you're not a doctor who's seeing doctors, nurses seeing patients all day, every day. If you are at home, certainly we should be doing whatever we can to contribute to support the situation, whether it be contributing money or staying home, wearing a mask. We need to be figuring that out. But we also have this opportunity to take this time and appreciate these silver linings, whether it be a streaming DJ or a comedy act. We have a friend who is organizing a Zoom comedy show. There's a company that has organized comedians to come into people's homes and perform for parties. She's now doing the same thing for Zoom. So you can collect your friends on Zoom with different comedians to come on and perform. It's fun for the participants, and it's a way for some of the comedians to make some money. I was watching something that said basically every artist was laid off when this all started. No singers can't perform live, plays can't be put on, and nobody's going to comedy clubs anytime soon. So these opportunities that people are creating are not only fun for us, but there's a chance for these people to make some money too.
And tying this with a nice bow before we go, City Dads have been doing. I know City Dads have been doing virtual meetups. Is this something that we see across the platform with City Dads generally?
I'm very good. I'm always good about recognizing we have 74 co-organizers across the 42 groups, and everybody's got kind of a different perspective, different way of running their group. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are thrilled to be able to get online and create Zoom virtual meetups, and they love hosting for an hour a group of guys talking. Other guys, that's mortifying. To organize it, to figure out the technology, and to try to lead a conversation with 6 guys across a Zoom feed is not for everybody. So we're trying to put out the options. I try to regularly put out what other guys are doing, make sure other guys are demonstrating. Greg in Milwaukee, and I know some of your Madison guys have actually joined. Greg in Milwaukee Dad's group has been organizing online card games, euchre games for his group. There's some guys that have organized early morning coffee. Kyle, I know, was on in Denver, organized some sort of virtual, get out and run with the dads in his group. Certainly plenty of dads are getting together for Dad's Night In, they're calling it, for over a beer or a drink of choice. So, and some guys, not so much. And
well, again, some people are building fences around their house, and some people like me aren't coming out of their house. So it's whatever you do for the pandemic.
Well, and some people just need to focus on whether it be taking care of their families or making sure they get their work done. And everything is harder now and takes more energy than it used to. To get something done is hard. So to add another thing to your plate is tough. So I'm not gonna be battering down people's doors saying, why haven't you planned a Zoom meetup this week?
Right. Let's just all make it out to the other side is really my thing. And again, if you want to build a fence, great. And if you can, you have that time, but that's just not me.
Nope.
So,
Nope. I have nowhere to build a fence.
well, but you said something really poignant, and it comes back to this, which is if you were good coming into the pandemic, you're probably good during it. So I wasn't ever building fences before the pandemic, so there's no reason to start now, Matt.
I have not stopped. My hobbies haven't changed too much since then.
Oh man, I got two good friends, and they're probably watching here. They're at home dads, and they built play groups.
Oh yeah,
sandboxes and stuff for the kids. They're like, hell, I don't know, and I want to get them out. So whatever. It was done in 2 days. And I'm like,
no, if you've got the time and you can get that wood, and people are doing something that they've always wished. They're doing the things that they wish they could do, whether it be learning to play an instrument or learning a language or building a playground or play set for their kids from scratch. People are taking the time, I think, which is neat to see. And I think that actually could have a permanent effect also. People are recognizing how busy they were getting their kids to baseball practice and music classes and swimming classes and all this other stuff. You got so busy you didn't have time for any of this. Now people are going to recognize, hey, I enjoyed having time to barbecue or to build or whatever it is. So I think this is going to have some permanent positive effects too.
And I think we're all generally, we're all going to look back at this time as a good time that we had with our families, whether we were forced into it or not. There are definitely some things that as a homeschooler who is around at-home dad homeschooler, meaning I never leave my kids, I have found some new things about them, Matt, within the past week that I didn't know before. And again, I guess we're spending more time together because they're not outside, and I'm not going to do my beer thing. So I guess that's ultimately where we're spending more time. But I'm serious. I found a couple things. I was like, oh wow. And I even said to the lady, I didn't even know Darius was blah 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 blah. And she's like, right. And I was like, so even in my context, you can learn a lot from your family and about your situation just by doing what we're doing now.
Well, I think we're all learning. I mean, there are some new characteristics that develop through something like this for adults and kids. We probably do get to see new things in our kids that we've never gotten to see before, and how they're handling it, how they're supporting each other, how siblings support each other, how they're supporting their friends, how they support us. Plenty of opportunities to see something new.
Yep. So Ozzy says they've been barbecuing a couple more times a week. We've been cooking way more than we normally have, and the boys have been cooking, and the boys have taken it up. They're doing pancakes, waffles, sausage. I mean, everything. I wake up, we got coffee made. I'm like, whoa, and this is a lot, Matt. This is a lot of me taking a step back, because these are things, as you said, you referenced your maid. But another thing that you were doing a lot, when they were younger, was cooking and while cleaning and doing all those things, and now they can jump in. And that's really, really nice.
I mean, these are life skills that, as parents, you always want to make sure that they know how to do their laundry, that they know how to cook themselves meals, that they know how to change their bed, whatever it is. And this is, if you're not doing it now, you're missing out on the opportunity, but you're also missing out on having the help.
Right.
It's nice to be able to wake up and have coffee already made or breakfast on the table.
Yeah. And there's also, believe it or not, or at least with my kids, I actually feel an appreciation of them helping out. Like, I think kids get to a level where they really want to help out. And sometimes parents are just like, no, I got this, or it's not going fast enough for them, or they're not doing it right. You know what I mean? Like, my one son he barely makes the sausage done. My other son almost burns it. So so I've learned to enjoy both of them.
Exactly. Well, and they get better every time. Like, if you don't have the chance to practice, then you're never going to have the chance to get better. So
this is true, Matt. It's been fantastic. I'm gonna let you go. It's been an hour. I think you've answered all my questions. I think we've gone through pretty much everything about City Dads, so people see this video, they can at least get a good snapshot, and they can run to the website down here, City Dads Group. Matt's just not looking. Matt's just not only looking for organizers. He's just looking for dads to come in. Just a safe place for dads to whatever, meet other dads. If it's just you're just going to meet other dads and go to the dad's night out, Matt doesn't care. If you're going to go to all the play groups and not go to dad's out, Matt doesn't care. If you just follow the blog and never go to a dad's thing, Matt doesn't care. But I'll let Matt sum it up. But I'm just saying, I've talked to Matt. I've worked with him a gazillion years, it feels like. And these are all things that I've gotten from him, whether he said it directly or not. So it's just a safe place. Join up, link up. Again, just enjoy the articles, just follow on Twitter, whatever. Matt, I'm going to let you sum up.
No, I think you got it. I think that is exactly what we're trying to do is be what dads need us to be. And that's going to be different for every dad. And it might be different for every dad over the course of time. Sometimes it's, I listen to the podcast and 2 years later, I come out to a meetup. Other times it's, I am really struggling right now and I need to come to a meetup. Or I haven't been out for 5 years on my own. I am going to finally come out and have a beer with you guys.
Right. I don't think so, Ozzy. Maybe a pour over? Nah. Or no, a drip. Nah, I don't know. My kids they're doing the French press, man.
There you go. No, my youngest does. He can do the whole process. He's 11 though, so 5 might be
It's a little rough.
And he doesn't get to try the results. So
thanks, Ozzy. And anybody who's down in the Miami area, there you go, Miami Dads Group. That's one of our new ones, isn't it, Matt?
Miami, yeah. No, it's revitalized. The guy that started it, and this has happened every now and then. The guy that started it wasn't so excited about keeping it going, and Ozzy came in and took it over and has run with it, and it's been fun to see him. He and his wife, and he has a new baby, and they send the cutest pictures out into the world over their Instagram feed. So
nice. Oh, we all need cute baby pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Matt. So thank you. Last words? Are you good?
No, I'm good. Thank you for doing this. I think this is the real joy. You and James Lopez, who you said you have on. James has taken this opportunity to get on Instagram Live, and he's hosting graffiti drawing meetups and all this stuff. He's loving this time. Yes.
I started this just because it's part of my therapy, to be honest with you, and also I knew all my good friends are home, so I could talk to you guys.
Right? It was really hard to schedule this, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't after. But I've been trying to. I asked you. I think I asked you a while ago. But if it wasn't you, there's been plenty of people that I've been asked before. It's just hard to schedule. So now in the pandemic, I'm like, I know you got all day and all night.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. So, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
I will. Hopefully, we can have you back. I don't know.
Anytime.
After this pandemic comes out and we can see where we're at, City Dads wise.
I'll have a better haircut. This is the way I've gone and. Exactly. A lot of gray hair. It's very sad.
But we're all on the same page, so I'm just going to roll like this. And
exactly.
All right, Matt. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Oh, another great fatherhood interview. We're going to have a couple more of those coming up. Matt's a great guest. It was fun. Let me right here. So tonight we have, later this week, we have Kerry Jaworski. He's the regional sales representative of Third States Brewing. Doug and I are going to talk to him on Friday. That'll be fun. And then tonight, I am very much looking forward to my friend, the beer baron, Chris Drosner. From he's a beer baron. He writes at Wisconsin Journal, Madison.com, and he is the editor of Milwaukee Magazine. I'm going to get that right, and we're going to have it for tonight. But I will see you in 5.5 hours. Time for some lunch. Again, thanks. I want to thank shout out to Matt. And I got to get this. Bizarre. Anyway, I'll see you guys in about 5 hours with Doug.